You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast with your boy, Al Mega. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And tonight, we got an awesome, amazingly talented independent creator. He's an illustrator, an animator. He's an author of the graphic novel, The Junction, coming soon from Titan Comics. Let me introduce the one, the only, the Canadian boss himself, the big man, Norm Konyu. What's going on, kiddo? How you doing?
Wow, that was some intro, Al. I didn't recognize who you were introducing there.
Yeah, like, who the hell is he talking about? He's looking at the bottom of our stream, y'all. Like, is there another guest here? No, brother, it is you, man. You are a superstar. Welcome to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. How are you?
Not so bad. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for taking some time to chit chat, brother. You know, you got this dope book, The Junction, coming out, but we're gonna talk more about that, in a minute. Let's talk about you, though. What's poppin', but where you from? Where you grew up at?
Yeah, I'm Canadian, as you said. I grew up outside Toronto in a little tiny little place called Alberton, where I think the cows outnumbered people 3-1.
Oh, damn, really?
And
that must feel like New York with the rats.
Yes, absolutely. And I did college in Oakville for animation, and have hardly worked in Canada since. I've worked in Germany, and for most of my adult life, I've actually been here in the UK.
Say word. I mean, when did that move happen in your life?
Germany, I did straight out of college.
Okay. So all right. So you spent your younger years in Canada.
Yeah. My formative years, and as you can tell from my accent, living here in the UK hasn't dented my Canadian accent at all.
No, it has. That's why I was surprised when you said UK. I'm like, okay, he does not have a Brit accent. So like, okay, he must not be from there.
Yeah, no, I moved here first in 91, I think it was.
Oh, wow, all right.
And I've spent, the odd year in Canada doing things, but most of the time it's been here.
Okay, great. So talk about growing up in Canada and, pop culture influence in your young life. When was it first introduced to you, or did you find it by all on your lonesome?
Oh, yeah. Well, comics specifically. I mean, we grew up in a house with no television for most of my childhood.
No TV as a kid? Wow.
Yeah.
You were forced to play outside and do chores and read?
Yeah,
my God.
Reading. Reading was my escape, really.
Awesome.
Voracious reader. And comic books was more of on Saturdays, my mom and dad were obsessed with garage sales, garage sales, as we say in Canada and the States.
What is that?
In the UK, called a garage. It's not a garage.
Garage.
It's a garage. Yeah.
A garage.
Yeah.
Jeez, so it's a garage, guys. It's not a garage.
So I lied about my maybe about the UK influence.
You got it, brother.
I do use the odd word pronounced the way here.
I love it, bro. You totally lost me. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. What's a garage? Yeah. So they would do garage sales every Saturday, and that's where I found comic books.
Oh, really? So you were going to some good garage sales.
Well, I think watch it. I think back then you could find stuff at garage sales that you can't find nowadays.
Back then people got smart.
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, a lot of the stuff I bought, didn't have covers on, and it'd been well read already. So, I don't have any collector's items. I haven't got an Action Comics #1 or anything that I happen to pick up along the way.
Okay. Oh, really? And then let me tell you, I have found gems.
Really? Yeah.
In garage sales when I was growing up, gems, and I mean,
really?
Like first appearance of Cable. What was it? Remember the gangster from the Spider-Man comic? the early on the gangster dudes and them. I found in garage sales. First appearance of Deadpool. I mean, I've bought the first appearance of Deadpool for like 50 cents. First appearance of Harley Quinn for $1. I mean, I'm like, how much? $1? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also as a kid, I had no, I don't know about yourself. I had no idea they would be valuable.
Oh, me neither, brother. I read the shit out of mine too.
Yeah, so they were already well worn, and by the time I was finished with them, they were in shreds, basically. I mean, I think I dug this up. This is
oh God, here we go. I love
the book. This is the book that first got me in, and specifically into Conan. It's an old Barry Smith. Dude, and that was one of the first ones I ever bought, and it's one of the few I've held on to. So it's in pretty ratty condition. It's just
I was still one of those first in that ratty condition. I love it. Yo, I'm a Conan fan, so you're speaking to a fan here. Wow, that was one of your first. I mean, you know what's funny there, my brother? When it came to the magazine size, it was Conan. My mama was buying me Savage Sword of Conan. And I'm here like 8 years old. I shouldn't be reading these things. But man, did I, like you, eat it up. Woof.
Yeah. And those are the kind of comics I went for. I wasn't so much into the superhero, the pure superhero stuff.
Yeah.
I was into the kind of the weirder stuff. I had my favorite artist is Mr. Kirby.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The king. So, Eternals. Nice. Bro.
Eternals and
what issue is that? What number?
It's number 7.
Nice.
And Commandy. I was really into all that really weird.
I had that whole run. I had that whole run at one point.
I had bits and pieces, but I have none of it now.
No, I had the whole. I still have. I believe a first issue in one of my boxes.
First one. Oh, you lucky man. So it's all that kind of stuff. So do you remember these kind of old ones?
Oh my, okay. So what you call garage sales, in areas where you have homes, right?
Yeah.
Back in the hood, we'd have block parties, right? And sometimes in these block parties, they would do a flea market. And let me tell you, there was people that, I mean, as a kid, I didn't appreciate it. And looking back, I'm like, I wish I bought all of them. These guys pulling out these gold key books, selling them for 10 cents.
Yeah.
To the kids on the hood. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would pick up sometimes those Looney Tunes. Yeah, the gold key Looney Tunes. Fuck.
I've got some of those. Yeah.
Oh, see, you are like me. Yo, brother. I think we're brothers from another mother there because it was my Conan, it was my horror comics. My G.I. Joe Transformers. Nothing more. Nothing traditional super.
So it's Conan, the sword and sorcery stuff back then, and I like Dr. Strange because once again that was weird. Wasn't so much superhero.
Hell yeah, boy.
And then the other things were a bit later as I got older, like maybe 12, 13, I discovered Will Eisner.
Oh wow, look at that copy.
Some old Spirit stuff. But these are reprints anyway, so these are from the mid-70s, I think.
But still, look at that, yo. Yeah. Woof.
You got some of that, and the other ones are the kind of they didn't last long, like things like Epic.
Oh, dope, bro. Yes.
And creepy. That sort of thing is what I got into a bit later.
Oh my God. My brother-in-law out here is like, Al, do you know any place I could find me some original creepies, please? Shit. I'm like, at a convention, you gotta dig.
Yeah. I think I've only got about 3 myself.
Yeah, but that's something to brag about. 3 OG creepies?
I think I had tons of them with like no covers and stuff like that.
Love it. So was it easy for you to find your tribe? While you were growing up over there, did you have a group of like-minded kids and friends that you grew up with, or was it kind of a solo adventure and self-discovery?
At first it was solo, but I think it happens for a lot of people. When you're in primary school, there's not too many that were into it. But then when you get into the bigger school, get into middle school or high school, then you discovered other people that were into it. Some of them were just got into the collecting side because they saw it as I can buy that for $1 and then sell it for $5 or that sort of thing. But there were some people really
I was doing that in 6th grade.
Yeah, there you go. You're a hustler right then.
Hey, but I'm a New Yorker to the core and a Puerto Rico. I can't help myself.
Yeah. So Yeah, it wasn't bad. And in high school, that's when I started doing cartooning myself.
Cartooning in high school,
Yeah,
nice.
well,
But
no, it was really rubbish stuff. I have none of it left, but really predictable stuff like doing a parody of Star Wars called Star Boars and Star Wreck, and things like that. Really highbrow sort of stuff.
gotcha. So here you are. You say you're messing around, and when did you start taking it like serious? Like, okay, I really want to do this. What happened?
I
When was that
not
moment?
not for decades, really, because
Decades, really,
yeah,
decades. So what
because
did you do in between? My gosh,
well, in between I went to animation instead. So,
animation. All right.
yeah,
So
so I went to college for animation, and that's what I've done my whole working life, has been an animator. So I've worked for places like DreamWorks and
oh, fire.
the BBC and Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, places like that. So that's what I've been
Wow.
doing. I haven't been doing, it's sort of a related field, but I've been doing animation rather than
And so,
comics.
what was that journey like, though, to get into that, the animation field? Was it an easy ride, or was it, a lot of bumps in the road?
I think I had a lot of luck along the way,
Okay.
because
I'm gonna
in
call you
my
Gambit.
between my second and third year of college, I stayed at my student digs, and I went work for a company called Colorization. They were responsible for colorizing black and white movies, which was really
Okay.
big in the 80s. And one of the
Yes, it
guys that moved
was.
into the student digs for the summer, they did an international animation course, and he was German. And he said, "Oh, there's this company in Germany looking for, young animators. Basically, they were looking for cheap workers."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, apply." So I did, and I got that all important first job, which is the hardest one to always get in the industry. And then when I moved out to the UK, I just happened to bump into someone who said, "Oh, this place is looking for someone to start like tomorrow."
Wow.
So
Really?
there was just a lot of luck being in the right place at the right time. I mean, I'm
Man,
not
it's all
saying I'm
about
completely
timing.
talentless or anything, but there's a certain element of luck in scoring the right gigs. And then once you're kind of then it's word of mouth
I love it.
getting
I
your next
love it.
job.
Love it. So, how did it feel like when you landed your first big
My first big which? Sorry.
opportunity? Your first big
Oh, sorry.
opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, you're speaking New York to me here.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
have to say. I'm
Listen,
gonna have to say
stop talking
garage to you
Brooklyn
again.
to me, Konyu. I know. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Imagine I moved to the UK, they would know, oh, that's the New Yorker. I would get arrested so fast. Oh, I know who it is. But
No,
I want to say this before you answer that question. You
sure.
say that you're not acclimated, but you did use the word rubbish also.
Oh, I use a lot. I
I
think
caught you.
I put in certain words, and people, when I go back to Canada, people do say you speak a bit funny. But when I hear
They
myself
said funny.
when
That's
I
fucked
when I
up.
hear myself on an answering machine or something, go, "Oh my God, I still sound like I've still got the nasal Southern Ontario thing going on." So, whereas I know people from Britain that moved to LA, and within a year they're speaking like they're from California.
All of a sudden,
So
right? They forget where they're from.
yeah,
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So okay, so you're doing this. You said decades long journey in
yeah,
animation. But
yeah.
when did you start itching to get into comics?
It was sort of because in animation, I've never been like the kind of A-star animator, a headliner sort of thing. I've been a good solid animator. So when I've worked for places
Why do
like,
you sell yourself short? I'm
there
you're
you go.
amazing. You're in the business. You're kicking ass, and I'm pretty sure I've seen something you've done. So
There
stop
you
it.
go.
You're amazing, bro. Don't you
So,
worry.
but what I fell into was places like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. I ended up
Oh,
doing a lot of
okay.
publicity stuff for them. So
Publicity. Okay.
they would be doing an ad for Powerpuff Girls, or one of those, their headliner shows, and they need a
Yeah.
bit of custom animation that couldn't pull from a show
Okay.
to do the ad or the competition or whatever. So I'd be one of the people they call in to do that. So you're matching something that's already existing.
Okay.
So that's what I kind of fell into. I was always working on someone else's style.
IP as opposed to something that's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So, years of that, and it's great work. I'm not going to put it down or anything, but
Of course.
I got to the point where it's like I don't even know what my own stuff looks like now.
Wow.
So
Deep,
I was at that point quite a few years ago. I mean, this book has been a long time in the making. I wrote the first ideas down in 2012.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
10
that's
years
when I put.
ago.
That's when I put the first ideas down. And then it took a while when I sat down and tried to figure it out. I spent ages trying to figure out what my style was, doing lots of different sketches and experimenting, and that because I had no idea anymore. Yeah. Before I finally found something that felt like me and was comfortable, and it flowed naturally from me. So it wasn't until then, which is probably about 2016 or something, that I actually started working on artwork for this book. And then obviously, there's 700 something panels in this, and there's as all comic creators say, it's crap loads of work in it.
All right.
And when you're working a day job, it's not going to move quickly.
I hear that. So let me do a nice little screen share here, because I want to show folks the trailer that you shared with me, because I want people to enjoy how gorgeous this book looks. All right. So, hang out with us for a sec.
Absolutely.
Let me add this right here, and let me add this right now. Check it out, folks. This is dope. Tell me if you hear it, Norm, please.
Yeah, we can hear it. Yeah, there's some crazy sound going on there, but it worked. Yeah, so that was the little I did that for the Kickstarter. Oh, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
And that animation is all you, right?
Yeah, that's just motion graphics. I did that to do the Kickstarter. That was the video I created for that.
Excellent, man. And when is this Kickstarter up?
Well, the Kickstarter is done. I did the Kickstarter March 2020, just as the world went into lockdown.
Damn.
Yeah, really. I am known for my perfect timing.
Apparently, you had the perfect timing to get in, and then the perfect timing to put out a book. Some great COVID reading, I would say.
Absolutely. So everything went to crap quite quickly. I had trouble printing it because the printers were closed and things. I found a brilliant guy here in the UK.
Oh damn!
Who did it? And the Kickstarter did really well. And I guess my situation after being amazed that people wanted it on the Kickstarter, and it sold a lot to the States, considering the ridiculous amount the postage is, which quite surprised me.
So because you're shipping it from the UK everywhere, right?
Yeah. So the shipping's approaching the price of the book. It's
oh wow.
It's incredible. I think the book was £15 and cost me. I think I actually took a loss on shipping to the States. I was charging 10, but I think it was costing me 11 quid to.
Oh wow!
To send it to the States because it's a heavy book.
Explain to me what does a quid exchange to? I mean, what is a quid?
A pound is what it is on the American dollar right now. It's probably about 125, somewhere in that region, I think, historically. worse on the Canadian dollar, much worse. um, and so after I had that, so the world's in lockdown. I had all the cons lined up over here. London Comic Con, everything. They all got canceled.
So when was what was the last Comic Con you did, if any? Or was this going to be your first time?
I did some this year. I did a couple of small ones, Lakes, and I did because I listened to your interview with Pete Dory the other day.
Yeah, Pete,
and he was talking about Thought Bubble. I did that as well.
Oh, that's a great. So did you have the same experience as him? Great show.
Oh, it's absolutely. I'd been once before as a shopper and browser. Okay. But that was my first time being on the other side of the table. It's excellent experience. I really enjoyed it.
Great, man. I'm happy to know there's so many comic fans out there showing love to creators like you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good fair for the indies. It really is.
Oh, and that's why we need to keep pushing and celebrating is independent creators like you that are bringing wonderful projects, like the Junction. I mean, and talk about the whole inspiration though behind the book. And is this a one-man show?
It's also a one-man show. Yeah, I did everything.
I mean, multiple hats.
Absolutely everything. The writing, the illustration, the lettering.
Crazy.
I made all the drinks that were consumed during the making of it as well. So, yeah. So it was all. I learned tons on it because working on film is completely different than working on a comic book.
How much more different is it? I mean, what type of learning curve we talking about here? Is it a major one? We talking about a 90-degree arc?
Yeah, no, not 90 degrees, but when, as I said, I've worked for so long in animation, you got a certain headset about how to do things. Yeah. And then you've got to slightly change, you're still telling a story and you're still following some of the same rules, but things like color just mess me up because we use different colors. You use RGB color for the screen and CMYK for the books, and nothing you see on the screen looks like that when you print it, and you have to learn all these kind of tricks. Okay. And I never heard of a bleed before or
like what are they talking about? I didn't cut myself.
So it was a great experience. But after doing the Kickstarter and having piles of boxes of books waiting for a con.
First Kickstarter though? Your first?
That was my first Kickstarter.
And it was successful. Is that?
Yeah.
What type of percentage successful were you? Do you know off the top?
500%.
Oh damn! Your first, congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, you go like this, bro. That's dope. Wow.
I got the 100% in the first 24 hours. So
what? 24 hours?
I wasn't asking for a huge amount. I was asking for £1,000. So what's that, like $1,250, $1,300 just to start a print run. But in the end, I ended up with about £5,500, I think.
Wow, that's great, man.
So in the pandemic as well, where a lot of other people that were running campaigns are saying they were down compared to previous campaigns.
They may have been down because people were getting bored with their product, and once COVID set in,
I think there's that, but
quality.
I think a lot of people, when we first went in, there was a lot of scare about people losing their jobs and their bills, and I think
even to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have changed all that much, but I mean, we were, I'm self-employed, so at that time I was thinking, oh, how's this going to hit me? So I think people were generally a little bit more cautious at that point. They had no idea how it was all going to play out, and could never have guessed where it still is. So we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I thought, well, I'll send it out to some publishers and see if anyone wants to pick it up. I did a couple of real kind of blue sky ideas of, well, I don't think they would ever publish this, but I'll give it a shot, sort of thing. So I only send it out to 5 or 6 the summer of the first pandemic.
Okay.
And just got white noise back. Didn't get any replies, except only one place was good enough to say it wasn't for them, but everyone else is just
crickets.
Nothing. No response at all.
Not even crickets.
Yeah. So I thought, I'll just wait till, because I know publishing's, was pretty messed up
the
in
moment.
2020 with everything going on. Everyone was delaying their titles, and so I thought, oh, I'll wait on this a bit, and then Titan contacted me, kind of out of the blue, and you know how I was saying that some of my getting my first opportunities in animation were luck. Well, getting Titan was a complete piece of luck in that one of my backers was talking to his neighbor, and he said to his neighbor, "What do you do?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm the commissioning editor at Titan."
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he showed him the book, and that's how it came about.
Wow, a backer helped connect you with Titan on this
Yeah.
way. Wow, that's awesome, bro.
It's
Talk
a real
about
fluke,
being a backer.
but I'll take it,
I'm glad they picked it up because Titan actually puts out a lot of awesome books by amazing creators, and especially the fact that you're a one man. I mean, just the other day I had a one woman show. I mean, here you are also the one man band. I mean, how heavy is that task on you?
I'm working on another book now, and it's heavier now than it was then, because then I was never sure I was going to finish it, what I was going to do with it. It was sort of a personal project, and now it almost feels there's more writing on the new one.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just a lot of work. The family says, "Oh, they never see me because I'm always in here."
That's your hut, bro. Come on now.
Yeah. This is the old garage. I'm going to use the word again. The garage of the house is being converted.
Yeah, brother, that's where I'm at. I make it look pretty because my camera has a great angle, but this is the garage too over here. Let me tell you. Yeah, but I feel you, man. This is what our spouses do to us. Go take your nerd stuff into the garage. Get out of here.
Well, to be honest, I had my spouse in here for ages. She had the other end of here.
She was occupying too much of your space, bro.
And so we converted another area of the house in for her. So now I have all this space to myself now.
Yay, privacy, the man cave. Love it. I wish I had that. I have this corner here, and that's that.
Well, I'm sure your Brooklyn real estate is a lot more expensive per square foot than we are.
Well, I'm actually in Orlando right now.
Yeah, are you?
Thank God. Okay. Yeah, thank goodness I left New York because, like you said, I mean, for you, a closet is probably costs $2,000 a month over there right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? That probably equates to like 2,500 pounds or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. New York is too pricey, but Orlando is reaching those prices too.
Yeah.
Florida, because they see the suckers are moving out of New York. Like, okay, if they're willing to pay that out there, they'll pay it over here too.
Yeah.
So the world is an evil place, man. Money is evil, but we need it, right?
Yeah, jeez. Absolutely necessary evil. Yeah,
a necessary evil. Yeah, bro. So, this book with Titan, The Junction. When can I pick that baby up at a shop?
You can pick it up anywhere. Basically, it's going to be available in your local comic shop, online, normal booksellers as well, because it's being distributed through normal booksellers, because Titan have a really good distribution network.
Excellent.
With I'm trying to think, is Random House, I think, in Penguin.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
They have a tie-in with them, so they have access to all the bookshops, and obviously all the online routes are also available. But I always encourage people, if they're going to buy any of these things, go to your local comic shop or your independent bookseller, because they've had a really tough time. And if you can spend that extra couple of bucks extra, it really helps out those local businesses.
Yes, it does, man. You ain't lying, brother.
I'm just as guilty as anyone else of having used Amazon from here and there because it's easy, but
I step away. I go to my local comic shop, Epic Comics, a big shout out, and I hit them up. And I've actually, as I've been, driving around, actually saw there's a couple of more shops. I'm like, okay, I gotta hit these up. Let me see what's in there. Right. I'm lucky. The area apparently has around 6 shops in the area, but I've only been to 2 so far.
You're just specifically comic shops?
Yes, specifically.
Wow, comic shops. That's amazing. Because I mean, There are very few here in the
Oh, and
UK.
I actually I went to a third because when I visited my in-laws in West Palm Beach, there was a big shop there, and I mean, it had a nice toy section, but a
Mhm,
huge comic section. I'm like,
mhm,
you could stay there perusing all day. A little bit pricey,
mhm,
but just for the nostalgia of it, you would definitely enjoy perusing.
mhm. Yeah, they're a rare commodity here. I mean, most major cities will have one. London's only got two or three.
So how do you get your stuff?
Well, I don't, I honestly don't buy a lot of mainstream comics.
Okay,
I buy back to a lot of stuff on Kickstarter and picking up
awesome.
indie stuff there, and then I'll cherry pick out the stuff from the main shops. There's a really good indie in London called Gosh Comics where you can pick up anything you kind of fancy.
Excellent. I
So
like
that's
that.
normally where I would get it.
I like that. Some
Um,
shops that support indie. I mean, I have those here. I had it in Massachusetts for sure. There was, two
mhm,
shops that I had locally within 15 minutes that both supported the hell out of indie.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and that's the great thing when LCS does that because
yeah.
again, you guys are the future, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see Norm do even bigger and greater things. I mean,
Who
is
knows?
there anything that you would really love to do? Let's speak it onto the world. Like, what would be your dream project?
I'm very much like think you were saying with Pete the other day was doing your own stuff like I am is my dream. I really don't
Awesome.
have much ambition to work on something that someone else's IP or creation. I mean, and I wouldn't turn down a variant cover or something, but I don't. Hint, hint, hint. But I don't know. I like creating something that's mine,
I get you.
through
I
and
mean,
through.
so is this a dream project? I mean, would you like to keep this as a comic, or would you like to take this on to a different level? Within the medium of entertainment.
Well, I mean, we are talking with some people, and going towards movie with it.
Oh,
Oh yeah, so we have
woo!
interest. We have interest in that, but it's very early days, so the chances are still very small of it becoming anything. But that 5% chance I might have now is better than I had 2 years ago of doing having
Hey
something
man,
go in that direction.
I love it, man. That's part of the journey, brother. Here you are building
Mhm.
something, and I'm glad that someone has noticed. You work through the years, and you're doing something like this. And they realize, like, oh, wait a minute, why haven't we, noticed? How dare they, right? Not give you that recognition earlier, but it's great. I mean, doors open, man. God's good, bro. This is awesome for you.
Yeah, I'm as shocked as anyone where this has all gone. Yeah, working in my little cave and sending it out into the world. It's a scary experience. When I finished the book originally, I left it on a shelf for 6 months,
Okay.
to go
Wow.
back to and look at, because that whole thing, you can't see the forest for the trees, and you
Mm.
go back after 6 months, you go, oh, that's not quite right, or that's not, you start
Okay.
seeing flaws that you just skipped over, a few months
Wow.
earlier. And nobody had read it, not even my wife or my kids
You
or
didn't even let
anything.
them. You're like,
I'm
nope.
very, very private about it. And the first person who read it was a reviewer over here for Pipe Dream Comics, a website here. And he was the first person to read it. And when he came back, basically ecstatic about it, I was like, "Holy mackerel!"
Oh, I got something. Yes.
Oh,
Excellent.
I've lost you again, I think.
No, I'm saying you're saying
Yeah.
like I got something. Yes.
Mm.
Great.
Well, and comics are very much a personal taste. One person's great comic is another something someone else hates, and vice versa. So when the reviews have come in and they've all been you know pretty good, you know very happy with that. I seem to get a fair amount of appeal with it.
I love it, brother. That's good. When you get that love, as especially as a creator, it's like, yo, great. And I mean, successful Kickstarter, a loving review, an option here to do something even greater with it. I
Mhm.
mean, bro, you are on the road to success, my brother. You got
Well,
this.
we'll see
So
when we'll see if we ever get any money out of it. That's the
it's
big thing. That
coming.
it was never done for the money in the first place. So
As
it's
it
just
shouldn't be. When you do things for passion, you know
oh
what?
yeah.
The money will come. When people recognize the greatness of the project, don't you worry, yo. And and when you do things like that, you look at what you just said right now. It shows me that you're doing things for the right reason. It's something you wanted to do, not after
Mhm.
something bigger.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. Um, so before we go in this
Mhm.
journey of yours that you've had thus far, animator, comic book creator, you know what I mean, and you have a family too. As you say, you have your spouse and all. I mean, how do you, how can you advise someone that's also on the same journey that has family, and trying to navigate in this world, especially this, creative world? What type of advice can you give them?
Well, I think I don't know. Everything's different for everyone. I mean, it's just the phenomenal amount of work is what it shocked me. Not just in the book, but when I went to do a Kickstarter, how much work is in that promoting and everything. You just got to realize you've got to set so much time aside, which is a sacrifice in itself, obviously. And then I think I would, you know, 10 years ago or something, I would never have had a chance to do this because the crowdfunding wasn't in place. I think that has been
Mm.
a massive boost for independent creators. I mean, how else would you've got your stuff out previously? I don't even know how people did it
Yeah,
prior
walking
prior
the
to
shops, hustling with a backpack full of comics. Hey,
yeah, on a
you
street
want to sell
corner.
my
I mean,
books? Hey, like,
um,
guy, come over here. You like comics? Like, as I was about to buy a bag of weed. Like, what happened? You got weed? No, no, no. I got comics. Oh, okay.
get arrested for that sort of thing. But I think that for me, I did a talk at a university here last year. They invited me in because they do an animation course and a comic book course. So I kind of covered the two
So,
fields, and I was saying to them, the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos, they also show you if there's an audience for what you have. So if you put a crowdfunder out there and no one buys into it, you're wasting your time basically because no one is interested in what you're doing. I mean,
yeah.
there's varying levels of success on those crowdfunders. I mean, people that are established or your Keanu Reeves based back projects are going to obviously go
Yeah, you seen that,
gangbusters.
right? Like that
Yeah,
Berserker went ballistic for
yeah.
sure. Jeez.
Of course, he's behind it. So as soon as you put a face on that, but if you can fund your project even for just the printing cost, there's an audience out there.
Yeah, yeah. That's great, brother. I love it, man. You have a beautiful project here. I'm happy that we're gonna see it soon through I mean, Titan
Mhm.
Comics. Great publisher. Great, bro. I mean, again, one man show here, folks. You hear this? Does it
I'm a
all.
I'm a sucker for punishment. What can I say?
Yeah, a lot of us are apparently. I mean, again, yeah, just like me, brother. Man, do I like really like crunch through my time, doing these things, and I love it. But it's not punishment for me. It's joy, inspiration, because people like you definitely inspire me. This is your moment, bro. Thank you for sharing, your passion and your love and your creativity with the world. I appreciate it, and
Well,
and
thank you for having
and
me
you
on
keep
here. It's
going
great.
on, brother. You keep going on. I can't wait to see this next project you're working on. I can't wait to see the possibility of the film on this. Man, it's gonna be kick ass. You are like murdering it. So, folks, you see it. I've been sharing this, right?
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
book is
So I've
called Junction Novel.
yeah.
Man, what you got from you gonna show sign
There you
off?
go.
Oh
I
snap!
just got one of the last.
Oh,
There's
look
one
at
here.
that beauty.
This is my self-published soft cover. So the Titan one's going to be
Okay.
full hardcover.
Oh, a
Uh,
hardcover. That's
yeah,
tight.
they're doing
Beautiful.
the full Monty. So this I've only got a few of these left on my site now. I think I've got 4 left.
Folks, you heard 4. So if they buy it from the site, do you sign them and all?
Yeah, if they request it on the there's special instructions on there. So if you want it signed, just say it, because some people don't like it. They like it pristine.
I know they want to get this CGC because they can't prove that you did it to them. Blah blah. You know what? You got to give them the video. Hey, this is me signing your book.
But yeah, so I think I've only got the 4 copies I'm letting go. I mean, I've got a few more left for myself.
Yeah, you better keep one or 2 for yourself, for sure, for the grandkids in the future. Look what Grandpa did back in the day. It'll be up to like part 100 by then. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, but I say my experience with Titan has been great, because when they signed me up, I still had, what did I have, like 60 or 70 copies left.
Oh wow!
And they were good. They were good enough to say, well, you can go to Thought Bubble and Lakes and sell off your remaining ones. That where they could have said, no, we have it now. That's it.
You're done.
Yeah. You got to sit on it. So that was very fair of them. So I'm down to my last 4 there.
It's only fair. You guys spend a lot of money on this, and you got to get your money back. It's only fair. You don't want to have boxes there. I mean, we're married, guys. You know what I mean? It's like our spouse will be there. You better get that crap out of here. It's taking up too much room.
Oh yeah. Well, when the Kickstarter copies arrived, because I think I had almost 500 of them.
Oh man.
They just filled the dining room. It's just full of boxes.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, half of them went with the Kickstarter. Over the next week, I got half of the boxes out. But
yeah, you were rushing. But I'm pretty sure you were getting the side eye, like, you better get this stuff off that table.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fairly hefty book. It's 176 pages, so
it's 176 pages of story and art.
It's a full-on experience, I hope.
Listen, brother, there's nothing better than spending some money on a book that you could not read in only 15 minutes. You know what I mean? That you could sit there and soak this book up for up to an hour. You know what I mean? Like, really digging it. And based on that art, your story flow, that trailer, Jesus, yo. Woof. Woof. I want this like now, right now. I need it in my life. So I can't wait till when Titan releases to the public in general. Go pick up that Titan book.
Yeah, it's coming out April 5th, I believe.
April's my birthday month, so I'm gonna gift myself that.
We planned it that way.
Yeah, I'll let the fans enjoy the 4 you got now that you have still in stock. Like, folks, jump on this. It's gonna be the next big thing. So when it gets options, don't kick yourself on the ass when Amigo told you he had 4 left and you missed out. All right, so you got it done, brother. You have been an amazing guest, Norm. Dig your energy. And wait. Last question. Moose Boy. What is Moose Boy?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I had a friend called Moose, and we have a story that's for the Crusaders After Dark on that one.
Right. Well, it's obvious. It's obviously the Canadian tie-in with the moose, but it was something when I've used that for years, and nothing to do with comics, to do with animation, and it sticks in people's minds when they're thinking, who's that animator that did that thing? He was Moose Boy or something.
Moose Boy.
Where they don't, with my last name Konyu, they often can't figure out how to type it into a search. How it's spelled. It's spelled with a C instead of a K. Etc.
I'm loving
Moose Boy sticks with people, and I've had a lot of repeat work from people because they remember the Moose Boy thing.
And now I need to have a comic book with a character that is a Moose Boy, a Canadian superhero Moose Boy. Yo, bro,
oh, it's probably been done. And Jeff Lemire's character was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think he was called Moose Boy, though. He wasn't called Moose Boy.
No.
I've never heard that name, Moose Boy. You better think about this, Norm.
But you know what? Mooseboy.com was gone. I couldn't get the .com.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so somebody.
But you got that CO. You know what they are? There's probably some porn site.
Oh, God, I hope not.
So please don't look it up. We're all gonna get in trouble.
If I remember rightly, it was someone that worked for Microsoft or something had it. So It's his personal site. It's something
really?
strange like that. Yeah.
Let it go. We need Moose Boy Superhero in the world on .com and on .co and everything else. All right. So Norm, that's your mission in life now. I want to see Moose Boy by Norm.
All right. Another project. There we go.
No, we're not, man. I'll keep you busy. Another 500 books on your kitchen table where your wife is going to give you the side eye again. Like, come on. Better move them things. As you will, though, because people love your work. You know, successful projects and all. And your first, congratulations, 500 over. I mean, I love listening to those type of stories when somebody, you know, takes that step forward, you know, and just to try and see how much they appreciate it. So again, good on you. Thank you again for joining me today. Everybody, show my boy Moose Boy over here the love on his website. You know, please follow him on social, on Twitter at Junction Novel, and on Instagram it is Junction Graphic Novel. So show him the love, man. Mm-hmm.
You were asking what advice people have.
Yeah.
And it's choose your Twitter and Instagram handle carefully, because I named mine after my first book instead of after my own name. And so now I'm going on to another book, and am I going to do it under the Junction name? It was a poor choice I made back then.
You know what? I think you still get a chance to change the name.
You can, but you know, I've sent out so much stuff and with those links.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I know you can change things.
I actually know some creators that do that. They do a Twitter handle per project. Yeah. I've seen it. So you know what? You know, you wouldn't be alone in doing it that way. So it's not that it's bad on you. Maybe it might be a good marketing ploy. You know, because each one is going to have its own analytics that you could really look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, because I built it up as my personal account now. So it's just a poor choice. Two poor choices: Twitter handles and launching during the pandemic. So there you go.
Hey, but you still funded, so it wasn't that much of a poor choice. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you know, do you think that it would have been, you know, more over if it wasn't for the pandemic? Honestly,
we'll never know. I'm waiting for the Marvel what if issue on that.
Well, how many listeners it take? We'll never know, really, because it ain't 3, that's for sure, unless you want to break your teeth. So thank you again, Norm. Much love, kiddo. Folks, you know what it is. You know, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications if you're enjoying all this content. You know, when we talk to amazing creators like Norm that are out here smashing it in the comic book world, yo, they really killing it, bringing us wonderful and entertaining projects. All right, the outro tells you everything else. Thank you, Norm. Everybody.
Thank you.
Later.
Right. From the garage.
Hey, from the garage. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.